And one thing that is amazing about Marianne already as we were crafting ideas together is that she is very down to earth, relaxed. And I apologize. And I know that you will let us know how your last name is pronounced.
Thank you
and welcome.
Amy. Amy, thank you so very much. And it's such a pleasure to be here with you all here at WFAN. And as we said before, we're going to talk about all the different ways that you can make sure that this is working here. There we go. Communicate your value with impact. We're going to tackle imposter syndrome and craft unique value proposition today. And if you took, like Amy took, one look at my last name and said, be what now? You are not alone. I get that all the time. Marianne, please buy a vowel. We don't know what to do with your last name. But if you ask me, be what? I'm going to say, let's be better. Let's be present and be authentic. And today, let's be champions of our own value. What do you say? Are you with me? I want to see you in the chat. I'm looking for reactions. I want, let's have cameras on, but let's hear who's in the house. I want to hear from you. So if you can tell me in the chat, where are you coming to us from today? What do you produce? Or if you don't have a farm, how do you serve this community? And are you emerging, expanding, or established? So I'm looking at, hi, Stacy. Hello, Jules. Hey, Corbin. It's great to see you this morning. Sarah, Anna, I'm paying attention. I'm looking. We're all present in here. Clarissa, good to see you. I think Mary's trying to come on in. So if you can put in the chat, let me know. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, I am not a farmer. As Amy mentioned, I have an herb store. So if something is dead in a jar, I'm your girl. But if something is growing, I am lucky if I can get a tomato plant, one tomato plant to survive a season and produce fruit in my garden. I'm in awe of all of you. Amy, thank you from Fort Collins, Colorado. Stacy from Pennsylvania, working with organic producers. That's great. Stacy, I'm headed out to Lehigh County, so I'll be in your neck of the woods pretty soon. Corbin from Iowa City, vegetable farmer, thank you. Anna from Denver, love Denver. Writer and researcher with Family Farm Action Alliance, thank you so much for your support of this community. Jules in Albuquerque, where I am this morning, our executive director of WFAN. It is great to see you and have you here. Anna in North Carolina, nonprofit organization Abundant Earth. I was checking out your website, very impressed with the organization, supporting grassroots projects, excellent mission. Clarissa in Lino Lakes, Minnesota. I hope I'm saying that right. Agricultural water quality. So it's such an important service. Thank you. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone as things go through. Tina, have a cow and calf operation in the middle of Kansas. That is fantastic. Local conservation. We have from, hi, Di, is it D or is it Di? I hope I'm saying it right. Spelled Di, I'm going there. But with my last name, you can tell I'm pretty sensitive to make sure I'm saying your name correctly. Marketing professional for food and ag, great. Raising chickens, corn, and soybeans, former teacher. Linda, welcome Linda from Fayetteville, raising sheep and livestock specialist, fantastic. Jean McGuire from Illinois, working with farmers in the Wetland Initiative. Thank you. If you haven't put that in the chat or if I missed you, I'm sorry, let's be present and be here. It's so great to meet you. And now that I've learned a little bit about you, I want to let you know you're all in the right place, because today we're going to learn different ways to handle that voice in our head, that inner critic that wants to stop us from progressing and reaching our goals. The great news is that we have the power. We have the power to stop that voice in our head, which sounds like us, but isn't us. But now that I know a little bit about you, allow me to share a little bit about me here. We're going to focus for this session, right? This is a one-tab event. So please try to remove any distractions that may come up. This is, we're a judgment-free zone. I'm here for you. We're all going to be present in this moment. So if you can, please close out any other browser tabs. and silence your phone. Everything will wait. We're here for the next hour. You can close your door. My 12-year-old knows he's not to come in here and play superhero with me for this time, and be ready to take some notes. We have some value. What we'll be going over today in the next hour is we are going to figure out about tackling our inner critic. We're going to build the foundation to create your unique value proposition. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A if there are any questions with that. So a little bit about me and how I got to be the business communication specialist. Going back, I was born Paige Marie Matris. Before I made a name for myself, albeit an unpronounceable name, I was born Paige Marie Matris, and I was adopted by Loretta and Joe Lombardi. Now, Loretta Lombardi was a nun, a Catholic nun in the novitiate from ages 19 to 23, when she realized she had an even higher calling, which was to be a caregiver for children. And after she left, she had 3 boys of her own and 8 foster babies. Now that's in a row and not in a pile, 8 foster babies. And I was the last one, and they adopted me. And as you're growing up through school, we make our friendships based on our commonalities. And if you might imagine, it wasn't very common for anyone in my elementary, middle school, high school years to have also been raised by an ex-nun, to have also had adoption as part of growing up. So I learned how to communicate with comedy and to listen. Making people laugh was that connection. Made my living as a stand-up comedian in New York City for a few years, and then I got married, and that will kill a joke. That will kill a joke dead. After that, I worked in corporate retail as the customer service manager for Rickles Home Center, which unfortunately was on its way to bankruptcy. But the stores that I worked with personally were able to bring their sales up, just not enough to lift up the whole chain at 23. So after that venture, we opened Staten Island's first and only bulk herb tea and gift store. If you go into any health food store now, you will see those 4 to 8 feet or more of bulk herbs, but that did not exist in the early 90s. That was not a thing. So we had, at the time, cutting edge herbs in jars. And as I said, if it is dead in a jar, I am your girl. If it is live in a field, I probably won't recognize what it even is. But we made that successful, sold it off to leave New York, came out to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I went into computers, worked the way up through to lead cross-functional teams. I'm going to ask if you are attending, if you could please be on mute to make sure. Okay, thank you so much. And I learned that, even if everyone's working on the same project, the C-suite executives who are the decision makers, in this case, it was programmer analysts, real statistical thinkers, the marketers who want to shake your hand to be very extroverted, and the customer service people who are very supportive. It's hard to get everyone speaking the same language because we'll have different perspectives on a project. When I had my son, I found myself a single mom and running a 7-figure revenue stream as an executive manager did not fit with my higher value of being a mom. So I went into business for myself, and here we are today as the business communication strategist. But when I was promoted to that operations director role for HealthXNet, and I got the corner office, I remember thinking, I'd been with the company for close to 10 years at that point, working our way up, growing that revenue stream for them. And I'm sitting there, it's Albuquerque, looking at the balloon fiesta. You can see the balloons there. And I remember thinking, man, when they find out that they promoted me, and when it all goes wrong, it must have been a fluke that I got here. It's going to get really bad. And the track record was there. The track record of working with the teams and growing the revenue stream was there, but I still felt like a fraud even after earning that role. And tell me, give me a show of hands here if you've ever felt like you don't know how you got to where you are. You don't know, sometimes feel like a fake, sometimes feel like it's a fluke. I see you there, and there's no shame in that. We all at times get that feeling, and none of us are exempt from that. And it really is based in fear. And fear is really just false evidence appearing real. We think to ourselves, no, we're not living up to others' expectations. What will happen? We will disappoint others and disappoint ourselves. And sometimes we want to pretend that we're not feeling that way, put on a show of confidence to hide kind of that fake it till you make it thing, which could work in some situations, but authenticity and vulnerability will get you the support and help that you need. Sometimes we're afraid, but with 8 billion people on the planet, we're afraid that someone else will find out we're not perfect. Like, we fooled everyone else into thinking we're perfect naturally, and we think everyone else is perfect all the time, right? Not. The 8 billion people on the planet, I guarantee you, at some point, someone's gone through what we're going through. Someone knows what you feel like. You're not alone ever. So don't let fear make decisions for you, because if you allow fear to make your decisions, you'll end up canceling yourself. And we need you to show up courageously, to be there as a role model for others. Okay. This is imposter syndrome. Now tell me if you've heard of imposter syndrome. We see a show of hands here. I'm seeing nodding heads. This is great. Thank you. This is the Google definition. When I put imposter syndrome, the definition that I get is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or been legitimately achieved as the result of one's own efforts and skills. And this term was first coined in the late 70s. According to a study, statistics show, and I don't even think this is a valuable statistic, because between 9 and 82% of us have felt at some point imposter syndrome. That is a wide range. And I think it's based on the sample and how comfortable people are in admitting that we feel that way. But if you're like me, whether you're just emerging or whether you're growing your business or you're firmly established, sometimes imposter syndrome will hit us. What do we do about that? What do we do when the inner critic pipes in? I remember visiting my friend in Portland when I was in town for a presentation to another women's group there, and I'm delivering the 5 secret steps to becoming a superhero. And I forgot to pack the capes, which is kind of a vital part of the presentation or audience participation. I give capes to my sidekicks, and everyone does the power pose to gain confidence. I didn't bring them. And that was a big, big part of my delivery. And I was walking around and saying, Marianne, which is how I voice my name when I'm mad at myself. How could you be so stupid? Oh, I can't believe I'm so dumb. I did that. And Eric looks at me and says, hey, stop talking about my friend like that. And that really struck me, because I was his friend. Why wasn't I my own friend? We can cancel ourselves out with our voices, but the inner critic in our head telling us what we've done wrong, it isn't our voice. It's not you talking. Your inner critic is really a combination of your past experiences and the expectations of other people who may have been critical to you over the years. Maybe it's family that did comparisons, or maybe you had an abusive relationship, or just maybe you just didn't live up to your own expectations at some point. These elements of your past make up your inner critic, and you have the power to bring closure. You have the power to detach. And one easy way to do this is to give your critic a name. It can be whatever you want, like Joe or Phyllis or Charles Emerson Winchester III or Peaches, whatever name you want to give your inner critic. It helps you to detach. My inner critic's name is Agnes. And I tell Agnes, I do not have time for you right now. You need to go. This simple strategy will help you disassociate your inner critic so you can help invite more positivity into your life. Now, I want you to meet Agnes. Agnes is not a person. I also neutralize Agnes by she's a bull, okay, and she's blocking my way. But what you can't see in this picture, she's puppy-like. So when Agnes gives me words of discouragement, I crumple them like a ball and I will throw them. And like a little puppy, Agnes the buffalo will just scamper off and go chase that, leaving my way open. This has been a fantastic tool to help just disassociate from this voice that truly doesn't know what it's talking about. If I had a nickel for every time that I said, "Shut up, Agnes," we could all retire at this point, really. So let me ask you, who's your inner critic? If you had to pick a name for your inner critic, pick it right now. And let's put it in the chat, share it with me. I want you to take that inner critic and however you need to dress it up, maybe powdered wig and masquerade ball mask is enough to make your inner critic appear ridiculous to you, to appear dispowered and neutralized to you, right? Pick a name. I want to see in the chat. What is the name that you are going to give your inner critic? Okay. Seventh, Mary. and practice with me. When I say, "Shut up, Agnes," I want to hear you, tomato hornworm. Oh man, don't they just devastate everything? Don't let the tomato hornworm eat away and nibble away at your positivity. Shut up, tomato hornworm. Patty Wilson, nice. Little hand on that ball. Throw Wilson as far away as you can. It's fantastic. Lucy lost it. I love it. All right, so you get the idea. Do you think that this is a technique that you can employ that will help you disassociate from that inner critic in your head? Let me see you. I'm seeing some nods. Head, great. Okay.
I called off and they said that's now under you. So we're going to throw out those referral points.
Okay, so Teresa, I'm going to mute you.
And then we also.
I don't think that was for us as part of the meeting. In addition to the inner critic, we also have an inner champion, right? But the inner champion doesn't pipe up as frequently as the inner critic, does she? No, but thankfully, we think there's also already a disassociation with that inner champion, that psych ourselves up. We can do this. We got this. Let's go. And we give ourselves a pet talk. That's our inner champion. My friend Kat likes to put herself in the position of being her own guardian angel. If you were to look on you as your guardian angel, filled with love, charged with protecting and making your world better and safer and paving the way to your success, however you define that to be, what would you say to yourself as your guardian angel? What would you say to your best friend who is needing sympathy instead of criticism? If I say to myself, the house is a complete disaster, and I'm going to beat myself up for that, my reaction is, oh, you're a bad person and you didn't make time to clean the house, so you're unworthy and no friends can come over because you don't deserve to have friends, you can't clean your house. If my best friend said, "Oh, my house is dirty," I'd say, "I don't care. You're my friend. You've been really busy lately. You don't have time. That's okay. No one's judging you by your house." We don't say that to ourselves by default, do we? So our inner champion is a voice that offers ourselves compassion. In the same way you detach your inner critic from you, I want you to detach you from your inner champion and be the inner champion. Say to yourself what you would say to your best friend. Say to yourself what your guardian angel would say to you. Okay, are you with me? We're good? I want you, this is your task. You're going to add nurture to your nature, but more, you're going to add self-nurture to your nature. Because no one's beaten down a path to our door to take care of us and our inner thoughts. We're all wrapped up in here, so we're responsible for making sure that here's a beautiful place. It's where we live in here. Let's make it as beautiful as we want our world to be. We got it. And promise me, please, if you allow the inner critic to take over, you will cancel yourself. Don't cancel yourself. There is so much you have to offer the world. And again, when you show up authentically, courageously, and with confidence, you give silent permission for others to do the same. You may never see who is looking to you with admiration and as a role model, whose lives you have impacted for the better. You know, whether it's someone at the market who has purchased from you and really liked the story of your history and your farm, or whether it's your product on the shelves of a store, and someone has been looking for exactly what it is that you offer, or a partnership that you've gone into to help mutually benefit all parties. Wow, what an opportunity that's there. Don't cancel yourself. You promise? Put I promise in the chat. Tell me, because I'm your accountability partner. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I promise. Yes. Okay. We have tackled that inner critic. Agnes is off playing with her chew toy in the field. All of your inner critics are off, drinking at the bar. Let them go drink mimosas and cripe at each other. We're here, we know better. It's time to get clarity. Clarity is the foundation of our unique value proposition. And with clarity comes confidence. If we have clarity in who we are and the problem that we solve and who we solve it for, we can build our unique value proposition on there. So I want to give you a couple quick exercises here. And this is one thing that I'll work with some of my clients. If you do not have your mission, vision, and values yet, and I suspect many of you in your organizations have a stated mission, vision, and values. I hope you have it written down, because if it's just in your head, we know what we are, I know what we're doing, I know who I want. If it's just in your head, then how will you communicate it effectively with your team, with your staff, with your potential partners, with your customers? If you're successful in sharing it effectively without it being written down, congratulations on being the first in the world to have had that psychic telepathic connection so effectively with everyone. I have never been able to do that. But really quickly, your mission is, what do you do, how do you do it, and who do you do it for? Just jot that down and make it simple. This is an exercise, and when you're filling this out, don't take more than 15 minutes. You can always go back and revamp, okay? Your vision is, where will your mission-driven activity take you and those you serve? You can put a timeline on it. In 5 years, we want our products to be in 15 co-ops across the country. That is a vision. In 5 years, we want to take our small community farm and expand to be in different farmers markets. Okay? Where do you want your mission-driven activity to take you with a time? And your values, what are the principles that guide you? Your mission and vision-driven activity. This is a foundation. When you have this in place, it will lead to the unique value proposition. And if you already have it in place, congratulations. If you decide to change it a little bit down the line, that is okay. Large corporations often revisit their mission and vision to make sure that it reflects where they currently are serving their community, because as we scale, we are flexible and grow with the state of our business. The next piece I want you to think of is a term I call your on-fire buyer. Who is the customer who just beams every time they see you, the partner who just can't wait to connect with you? In the herb store, my on-fire buyer was Marvelous Michael, and he was a fantastic flaming gay man who gave the best hugs and looked like Paul Prudhomme, that overweight chef, just as cuddly and warm. And he would come in and he wanted this rose hips for the scent for his potpourri, and he was having a dinner party, so he wanted the finest turmeric and ginger to make his different lamb dishes. And he was just such a joy and a beam of light when he came in. Who is your on fire buyer? We had many different customers in the herb store, but from chefs to alternative medicine makers to people who were using spiritual incense purposes, to those who were brewing with it. Each one had their own, you've heard this, customer avatar profile. And we're not going to go too far deep into this, but I wanted to run this by you to let you frame out who your on fire buyer is. Because when you have this again written out and visualized, it is easy for you to communicate, to frame your press releases, your advertising, your conversations to match your ideal customer. So here's what it looks like. The on fire buyer, your who, what, yum, and yuck. The who is a list of all the demographics. What's their age, gender, where do they work? How many kids do they have? Are they living with their parents? Are they living on their own? Are they late in life being cared for by their children? What part of the country are they in? What is their profession, income level? The demographic of your on fire buyer. And think of it this way. If you've ever read a book that touched you or saw a movie that really affected you, and the characters, although fictional, are so vivid that you would have no problem picturing yourself sitting across a cafe table with them and having a conversation. That's how vividly I want you to picture your on fire buyer, your customer avatar. Can you have more than one? Yes, but please, I mean, just like ice cream cones, you should really only have one at a time that you're working with. So feel free to make as many as you like, but when we're working through this, pick one. The what will be the environment, the influences. Okay, where do they get their news? Where do they work? Where do they go to school? Where do their kids go to school? What groups or associations might they be part of? What do they do for fun on the weekends? What are the influences for your on fire buyer? And then finally, yum and yuck. Really easy. There are only two mantras in life, yum and yuck. What do you want more of and what do you want less of? Identify what your on fire buyer, your customer avatar, wants to increase in their lives and where it intersects with what you offer. And identify with what they want to avoid. I want to avoid health issues. Well, where does it intersect with what you offer? We offer healthy produce. We offer very humanely, sustainably grown livestock. This is how it fits in. Okay. If you would like these worksheets and more, they're available. And I have a free ebook. I will email it to you. If you put your email address in the chat, I will not sign you up for a newsletter. I don't have a newsletter. I don't spam you. I'm just sending you a PDF ebook. If you want access to these worksheets and more, I'll be happy to do that. So again, just put your email in the chat and I'll pull this off later and mail this to you afterwards. When we had the herb store, I remember planning for months and months and months. And I had inner and outer champions telling me you could do this. Because I had walked into a store in New York City, long since closed. It's called Aphrodisia. And they had all the herbs in the jar and the smells and the store kitties and the opportunity. I was in heaven. And I said, I want one. I was in my late teens and held on to that dream for years. As my inner champion and outer champion said, you can do this. So we planned for months. We opened up our store. And on opening night, had a party where my friends and my family were in. We had a little champagne, a little sparkling apple cider, and we just toasted and celebrated this moment. And I remember looking at that front door. It was all glass. And finally, for the very first time, turning the sign from closed to open. And suddenly, nothing changed. No one walked in. There was no throng of customers immediately stampeding to get into what we were selling, because at that time I didn't realize I had to get our message out there. I had to let people know who we were and what we were about and what we were offering, what problem we were solving. After the paper came in to interview us, because it was unusual for the time, especially for Staten Island, New York, providing alternatives. We had a passion for that. And once our why was known, the customers came in. Again, the chefs who really wanted to provide for their customers menu options. They knew that our herbs had a very rich, high oil content, very aromatic, very flavorful. Same with those making incenses, or those who were brewing, wanted the juniper berries to make gin. That's pretty cool. You're going to offer me free samples? No? Oh, well. That would have been nice. But remember, your why is sometimes more important than your what. It's at least as important as your what. Okay. After that article came out, we're near a bus stop. We're on a walking path. But once the article was out, everyone who was walking by, people started walking in. People I'd recognized because they'd heard about us and they knew our story and started to explore where maybe herbs weren't their interest. It piqued their interest and they wanted to see what was in it for them. Okay. When you are telling your story, keep in mind that you are the only expert on you. Only you can tell your story. Only you can share your why. No one else can tell the story of you with the authenticity and the confidence that you can. Okay. You with me? I love it. I'm seeing some nods here. Your customers know why they choose you. Do you know why your customers choose you? This is the next step leading to our unique value proposition. Your customers choose you for a variety of reasons, and they know why. What they want, what your on-fire buyer wants, and the intersection of the problem that you solve, and what makes you different, what makes you unique, your story of you. That sweet spot in the center is your unique value proposition, and that's where it rests. Sounds easy. You may have heard other people speak on unique value proposition and tell you that it's one statement only. I'm going to tell you something different than others have told you. I'm going to tell you something a little different than what you may have read. Your unique value proposition can be individual to every individual that you deal with. But since it's based on your clarity of what your on-fire buyer wants, the problem that you solve, and what makes you different, the common thread that runs through it will never escape you, never be a challenge for you to grab. Now, it sounds like someone else is unmuted. I'm going to mute. Looks like Mary, thank you so very, very much. And we're going to run through an exercise. This is the trick on how to create your unique value proposition. I'm going to run through different individuals who may interact with you in your business. Okay, now this is Sydney. She is your direct consumer. She buys directly from you at your farm or at the market or through a subscription service, a subscription box, whatever your model is. Sydney buys directly from you. And to have a unique value proposition for Sydney, you need to answer 3 simple questions from Sydney's point of view. Because Sydney is thinking, as a blank, I want blank so that blank. I can say, if she were my herb store customer, as an aging woman, I want to have a more open-minded approach to my health and wellness so that I can live longer and be more active. As an herb store owner, the unique value proposition for her would be to help those in the active aging community. I offer the highest quality herbs and essential oils and books and resources so that you can learn how to be more active and take an approach to your healthcare that incorporates alternatives without having judgment from the established medical community or with the support of our community. A unique value proposition formed from putting ourselves in this customer's viewpoint and answering these 3 simple questions as a blank. I want blank so that blank. Little insight as to where these questions came from. Believe it or not, when I was working with developers, the analysts, the number people had the clue on how to get more connected to people around them. This is the tool that's used from a developer standpoint. If I am using a piece of software, they would think of me as a user of this software. I want an easy interface so that I don't have to try to figure out and have a hard learning curve to use this software. That's where this comes from. But it is applicable not only to our customers, but also to our family interactions, our social interactions, and every aspect of your life. Let's go on and let's continue with this exercise. Okay, this is Anthony. Anthony has a co-op where you want to place your product. So again, I want you to ask yourself, how is Anthony answering these questions? Okay. As a business owner of a co-op community supported business, I want locally grown, fresh, organically produced products so that I can support my community from both the delivery and the consumer side. How does knowing that, and please fill this in differently. I'm just throwing this out here, okay, as an example of how we might answer this. There's no one answer, but how does this change the conversation that you have with Anthony when you go and have that conversation to get your product on the shelves of his stores? Say, hey, I have an organic farm that grows these specific produce items. We specialize in green leafy vegetables. And every week we're harvesting enough. I would love to get this into your store so that you can serve your mission of serving the community and we can serve our mission of serving the community together. That is a unique value proposition for the conversation you're having with Anthony. Do you think this could work for you? You think? I'm seeing some smiles and some nods. Does it make it a little easier to take the stress out of, what do I say? I'm so nervous about this high stakes conversation. Right?
Marianne, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So Susan in the chat said, I don't understand where the value proposition goes in this sense. And so as I'm hearing it, it's a flip from the customer statement. So what value are you bringing to them based on how they respond to this? Is that correct?
That is correct. Very often we'll hear the unique value proposition is this high level umbrella that means all things to all people. And that does have value. I'm not saying it has no value. I'm saying is we can niche it down to our conversations with our important partners, stakeholders, prospects, however, family members, relationships, so that our unique value proposition has more impact to them in that conversation. So if your unique value proposition is to provide organic and sustainable agriculture products from our farm to the community at large. Okay, I think I need to mute that. Okay, at the community at large, that's great. And that is a portion of your conversation with Anthony, because the community at large is now the same community that he serves. As an owner of a co-op, I want high quality, locally produced products so that our community can be healthier, happier, and support each other locally. Well, your unique value proposition to Anthony at that point is, it's my mission to help business owners like you to serve our mutual community, that they can access locally grown, organic, meat products, vegetable products, honey butters, honey, whatever it is we're offering, okay, without having to go to different small farm locations. They have the convenience of having it at one place. This is your unique value proposition, showing that you understand the problem of the person that you are speaking with and are offering a solution for them. Okay. I've got one more here. This is Stephanie. Okay, you want Stephanie to invest in your business so you can grow. This is like the face that anyone makes when we ask them for money, right? as a what? Stephanie wants so that. Okay. Maybe as an investor, I want to know that you are an established business that isn't going to go away overnight, so that I am not throwing bad money after what seems like a good cause. Your unique value proposition is, we've been established for X years, or we're emerging and up and coming, but here's our business plan and here is our structure and we are committed to this. Here's the documentation for that. Okay, so we are established X years, and our goal, going back to that vision, is to solve this problem for this community, hitting this target in X years, so that we can continue to serve our growing community. And I want you to be part of that. So your unique value proposition, niche down for this conversation. And please don't make it harder than it needs to be. This is my dog Baxter. Okay. My unique value proposition is based on his wants. He goes, as a dog in Marianne's house, I want treats and scritches so that I know that I'm a good boy. Okay, well, I've got great news for you, Baxter. I happen to be a person who loves giving treats and scritches to dogs to make sure that they know they are loved and welcomed in the house. There's my value proposition for you. Okay. Are there any questions at this point? Are you getting some value from here? Taking a quick look. Okay, great. Be curious about those that you are interacting with. Try to put yourself in their mindset here. What we've gone over so far, I just want to give a quick recap. We have gone over your inner critic. We've talked about how to give strength to your inner champion, a little bit about your foundation, which is your mission, vision, and values. And I see a bunch of emails in the chat. I will get that out to you. Thank you so much. You can go over it at your own time, your own pace. We spoke about knowing your on-fire buyer, who your star customer, your ideal customer may be, and creating a picture of them, even if it's a fictional character or an amalgam of some of the customers you already deal with, to make your on-fire buyer. You frame your conversation toward that individual, it will land with greater impact, and you will have greater success in whatever outcome you're trying to achieve with that communication. We spoke about your unique value proposition, and I have a couple bonuses here for you. The first one is a business strategy. Chances are you want to ask somebody for something, whether it's a sale or a partnership or to invest in your business. And if you're like me, you're so hesitant to impose or be pushy or think that we might be bothering someone, instead of being so excited that, oh, I have got, metaphorically, I've got the cure for cancer, and who am I to withhold it from you? We have got the best product in the area, and who am I to deny you the opportunity to experience it with us? And it's this mind shift that happens for the ask. But if you're not quite there with the mind shift, here's how to phrase your ask. First, include a fact. Include a belief. Include a feeling, and include your ask. And these can be in any order. When you're making your ask, and let's say you are in the position of asking for members to join in support of agriculture efforts and initiatives in underserved communities. As an example, your entire business model is reliant upon the generosity of others buying into your organization's mission so that you can help empower the disenfranchised. It's excellent goal that you have, mission that you have. So the fact is that there are farms in other parts of the world that do not have the resources that they need to serve their own communities. I believe that everyone has the right to sustainably and ethically grown food. And I feel I can make a difference and that you can make a difference in their lives and in their communities, and therefore in the whole world, if you would just join as a member at just $10 a month or a one-time donation of $10, I know that we can make a difference. Everything that I phrased there is not I'm sorry, I know times are tough. I know that everybody's strapped for money, and I feel bad asking, can you maybe give $10? It's a very different conversation, because I'm just telling you the fact that drives what I believe about that fact, that drives how I feel about it, and giving you the opportunity to support the same cause that if you want. It makes it so much more comfortable to make the ask, and you might find that it will also make it easier for the person you're asking to say yes. There's more of an understanding and an embracing and an alignment between you of what you're asking. So let me ask you, is that a valuable tool for you? Okay, I see some note taking, I see some nods, I see some smiles. Very nice. Okay, fact, belief, feeling, ask. That's my first bonus. My second bonus, we're wrapping up here. I know we'll have some time for questions, but if you want to talk to me specifically about your business, this is my gift to you, my gift to WFAN. 20 minutes complimentary call based entirely on your situation, your business, what you have questions about, to help work a quick strategy, communication strategy, whether it be for marketing, scaling your business, establishing, going for that investor. I'm here for you. I want to be able to continue to make a positive impact, because I really believe in the mission of this organization, and I want to see more of us succeed. I firmly believe a rising tide lifts all boats.